Hello everyone, welcome back to GM Magique. Today I have a new article for you. It is entitled Social Climbing. I have listed the page number and the column right here, so you could find it on the June 6th issue of The Economist and the business column on page 62. Also, quickly before we start, I'd like to clarify a few things. I received a lot of questions regarding where do I get my articles, what kind of applications I prefer using, all kinds of stuff. I welcome all of your questions, but it would be nice for you to take a thorough look in the description box before actually typing those questions. I'm just thinking this might save quite a lot of time to type, and you don't have to ask those questions when the answer is actually hidden in the description box. Okay. Plus, this is how you can get my notes, summary, and audio files for free. You can just scan this QR code, and everything up there would be available and for free. Okay, let's get started. The title is Social Climbing. This reminds me of social climber, i.e. a person who treats people from upper classes really nice in the hope that one day he or she could get there. Also, it would be more familiar for French majored students, or actually any French speakers, to say petit bourgeois. And then investors get their heads around a woolly risk factor. Get one's head around means understand something or come to terms with. You could say that, I really can't get my head around it. I really can't understand it. And then a woolly risk factor. Think about a sheep. It has loads of wools, but you can't see through them because it's not clear and it's quite fuzzy. So if you put a ly after the word wool, literally means it's vague. It's ill-defined. You could refer to the left-hand side for the definitions from Cambridge Dictionary. And then COVID-19 has brought out the best and the worst of the corporate world. This one. Bring out the best and the worst of someone or something. Literally means you could present your best side or worst side in terms of, for example, epidemic. And then the corporate world, we mentioned it multiple times. For example, I think it was a month ago we mentioned corporate Japan. Car makers are producing ventilators and consumer firms are making hand cleaning gels. So consumer firms refer to the companies whose products are bought by individuals rather than manufacturers. Also, I have listed relative links. You could see from the French Vogue, also you could see from BBC that companies such as Fiat or LVMH, they have started to change their production line into hand sanitizer or ventilators. I'll just use this cosmetic branch as an example. For some reason my internet is not working. Doesn't matter. And next one, such considerations touch on what sustainable investors call social risks, part of the environmental, social, and governance, or ESG basket of factors that has grown popular in recent years. It's a quite important concept, especially if you are interested in economy. Let me find this definition. Yeah, right here. So this is several factors in measuring the sustainability and societal impact of an investment in a company or business. These criteria help to better determine the future financial performance of companies. Also, there has been researchers suggesting that ESG factors, when integrated into investment analysis and portfolio construction, may offer investors potential long-term performance advantages. That's why it's quite important for the author to talk about such factors, because basically in the post-COVID world, investors need to heed potential risks in terms of society or environment or even governance. Next one, bring the S into the limelight. limelight is kind of like spotlight. You could say take something to, or you could say make something under the spotlight. Next one, Moody's, a rating agency. Maybe it's a bit small. Okay, this is better. I think it's better for me just to, yeah, maybe this ratio is better. Moody's, a rating agency. It is the third time that we have mentioned Moody. It is one of the big three among Standard & Poor's, Moody's, and Fitch Group. They are the top 3 credit rating agencies in the world. And then here, such as educational outfits. Usually we would say, oh, that's a cute outfit. But right here, it means enterprises or companies or groups. So outfit doesn't just mean clothes. And then a green asset manager can assess a firm's carbon footprint. Few gauges exist for socially minded investors. I marked this whole sentence in grey because it is an exemplary sentence that you could use in your IELTS writing. A few gauges right here. Gauge is used as a noun. It means indicator or touchstone. It's also the third time that we mentioned it. And then socially minded investors means the kind of investors who care specifically about their society. And then next one. This is a relatively easy article and it's really short, but it's quite interesting. That's why I chose it. Actually, my plan was to choose something related to Germany and Japan about marriage and their sex workers, but I think maybe it's not that appropriate. And then, but a focus on that alone can lead to perversive outcomes, but simply giving greater weight to companies with relatively few employees. The word perverse naturally leads me to the word pervert. You could understand, of course, in this context, it has nothing to do with pervert. In this context, it's more as if you're saying is illogical, is irrational. And then give greater weight is a common expression which is usually used with give no weight or much more weight, or you could say little weight to say you are not caring too much. For example, a gay couple is getting married, but both on their both sides, parents are not okay with this whole gay thing. You could say that, so when he decided to get married, he didn't give much weight to their objections. This also reminds me of way over the market. This means you could say the pandemic is weighing over the market, is putting pressure on the market. This phrase was in March 24th posts, and it was on the same day that we mentioned this thing. LVMH started to produce hand sanitizers from their perfume line. Next one. A recent study by Vincent Deluard of INTL FC Stone, a broker, found that ESG-focused funds did precisely this. I marked that blue because it's a general research fund. I think it's quite scientific because I actually looked into the source. It's a prevalent finding in ESG funds. So yeah, I think it's quite important. And then as a result, ESG rating firms rely on inputs rather than outputs to calculate their scores. You could say to quantify their social factors, or you could say to calculate their scores. Of the 61 questions underlying one rating firm's social score, underlying, I think I have put it down here, be the cause or basis of something. It is frequently used in the government's report in China. Next one, WYSI data analysis might fill the gap. Whenever there's a gap, that means there's a room to improve. So fill the gap means this might come into handy to solve the problem mentioned above. And then WYSI literally means technologically innovative or advanced. And then it's just a nicer word than saying technologically innovative or advanced data analysis. It saves your word count and then looks at online reviews of companies written by staff members. So right here, the reviews includes the those written by Wells Fargo's former employees. This company's scandal happened in 2016, where they were found to fake customer accounts with forged signatures. But it still hasn't come to an end, because I found that just a month ago, Financial Times did a report on this company and said that the bank need to pay $3 billion worth of fine just because what it did in 2016. Another example is the opioid crisis. Way before it hit the headline, so it's RepRisk. This company has done a risk rating, and it was found that through news articles and think tank reports, their risk was already high for most pharmaceutical companies in America. All have since been sued for allegedly playing down the risks of prescribing opioids. You could also say downplay to put them together, just like this. And then, interestingly, because yesterday when I was having a call with my friend, she said something like, don't play it down for yourself, because we were arguing about the importance of getting back to whoever was trying to contact you. Okay, so that wasn't something I should talk about here. Next one, a third data firm assesses the sentiment of news coverage. So sentiment right here has nothing to do with sentimental, even though it's the fourth time we mentioned this word. Here it means point of view, or what you think of this whole situation. Then controlling for size and industry. Controlling for a variable means you bin data from these variables, so that is no longer a confounder in the research. It's a statistic. I think it's a statistic concept. I have also linked the background information down here. So if you're interested, you can go and have a look. And then the rigor is helpful. Right here, rigor means meticulousness. You're being really careful. But the challenge will be showing that such data can be consistently useful for investors. I think this is a perfect example to wrap up an article, because previously we have saw 3 examples of Wells Fargo, of the opioid crisis in America, also the latest one. A company's response to COVID-19 was linked to smaller than average subsequent declines in stock market returns. So after mentioning 3 examples, the author concluded that such data could be consistently useful for investors. And then plenty still to keep the number crunchers on their toes. In just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just 9 words include 2 expressions. One is number crunches. That means a system or an operation which could proceed large amount of number in a short time. And then keep something on one's toes means if you say he keeps me on my toes all the time, that means he forbids me from being relaxed, being lazy, just to bunk off or to slack off. So basically you are alert and ready for whatever's going to happen all the time. Let's make a quick summary. I have written down a version, but I might change it. So for investors, COVID-19 has touched on social risks, part of the environmental, social and governance or ESG basket of factors that has grown popular in recent years. Social factors are used in the hope of improving the world and returns, but among investors, there is little consensus on which social risks matter. As some social factors are hard to quantify, ESG rating firms rely on inputs. This is not that important, relies on input rather than output to calculate companies' scores. Besides, wizard data analysis and assessment for the sentiment of news coverage can fill the gap. Or you could put in this, reviews of companies written by staff members. So, even the pandemic abates, plenty still have to keep the number crunchers on their toes. This is really a relatively easy but basic article The thing is, there are quite a lot to learn in terms of background information. I'm going to link all these because the links are too long. I can't put it in the description box. I'm going to link them in my WeChat posts. So I'll see you guys. Oh, where is my PowerPoint? Okay, I'll see you guys next week, and I hope you guys have a lovely Sunday, and bye.